So you were interested in Danish coins. So today we are continuing on with the series. I've made a series beforehand on these coins, so we're not going to talk about them. Although these continued to be in circulation up until they were removed from circulation, or at least the denominations were removed, like these ones, 1974. And the silver coins were removed from circulation starting 1920. So this is Gumadi's Coins Banknotes, and my name is Glenn. So we are talking about the coins that were issued under Christian X. So that's his monogram, and his effigy only appeared on coins of 1 and 2 krone, but they were only issued in 1915, 1916 during the heyday of the First World War. Although Denmark was not party to the actual war itself. So here is a few series of his coins. We're just going to do from 1913 to 1940. So 1940 is when they were invaded by Germany. So initially they just issued coins, the same specifications that we issued since 1873. So each monarch, when they issued a coin series, most of the time they changed the design, except for the 1 and 2 krona up until 1916 through the Frederick the 8th and Christian the 9th. The 1 and 2 krona had the same design, and that was basically just this design in silver. So we had a dolphin and barley on the other side. So initially the silver coins, so the 10, 25 øre, the 1 and 2 krona were in silver. But in 1920, they removed silver totally from circulation. So Norway done the same in the same year, and they never reintroduced silver as a circulating medium of coins. So most other countries got rid of silver in 1965 to 1975. I think Germany was one of the last in 1974 when it changed the 5 Deutschmark. So we had in 1920 they changed the silver coins to copper and nickel, but they issued them in the same design, and they kept the bronze coins pretty much the same. Okay, we are on Numista, and as you can see, we've got the initial bronze coins, 1913 to 23, so that's 11 years of issuing coins. Then during the First World War, just after the First World War, there must have been a shortage of metal, so they changed the 1, 2 and 5 øre to iron, and these ones were issued, I believe 1990 was issued alongside the bronze coins. Then in 1926, they had a change in their coins, so they put holes in all the øre coins. The 1 krone they didn't, and the 2 krone they didn't put holes in them. So, but they kept the metal the same. So that's a reduction in the metal. Actually, it says that like there's an increase in weight. No, reduction of 1.1 gram between that one and that one. That's iron, different metal. The Second World War, which we're going to talk about when I get the actual other coins. So that's the last series. And you got the 2 øre, they've done the same thing. The 5, the same thing. Now the 10, which I don't have these coins, you can see the design with the 5 is quite similar. And 14, 19, they issued bullion coins, so that's less than 50% silver. Then in 1920 they removed silver totally from circulation, but 1924 they put holes in them, so I believe they done that so they can efficiently remove these coins from circulation, because if you change the design, this is easily identifiable, so the bank can actually just remove these without the hole. So that's pretty easy. And just done the same with the 25 øre, and they issued a new denomination, the half krone 1924, and the aluminium bronze 1 krone in 1924, as well as a 2 krone 1924. Now these all had the same specifications as in dimension as the silver coins, but because they change the metal, the weight will be different. Okay, and issued the 10 and 20 krona. So basically, Denmark went off the gold standard in 1914. And apparently they tried to go back on it during or after the Second World War. And because there was deflation, there would have been inflation during the First World War. So it would have increased prices. And going on the gold standard at the same rate would mean there had to have been deflation to set prices back to whatever the gold value is. So that actually caused a lot of problems in Denmark. So basically the only information I can get is this globalsecurity.org. Okay, the election of Liberal government supported Conservative Party. So in 1920, actually, the king got rid of the government that wasn't popular. It's because he lost the plebiscite in, I think it's Freiburg in Germany, which had a sizable Danish minority, but they voted to remain part of Germany, and that wasn't popular in Denmark, so especially with the king. So he sacked the government, blaming them. But I don't think that's the reason why they changed the silver coins, because that's just way too fast. Also, they could have changed the silver coins because they had portions in southern Jutland or northern Schleswig, in which part of Germany was actually joining the country. And they used the mark, but at the time, Denmark was pretty much affected by iron and zinc coins. Okay, they had a post-war crisis affect agriculture and industry. So yeah, a lot of stuff was diverted to war, and even though Denmark wasn't part of it, it would have been restricted in what resources they can get because they don't really have a mining base, so they had to rely on other countries. And there was a banking crisis from 1920 to 33. So Denmark suffered from deflation caused by its own policies. Okay, apparently Landsman Bank failed. I believe this is Danske Bank, and it was bailed out in 1922, so that could have also been a reason, but I don't think so. Okay, there was a revaluation of the krona, so I don't know when that happened, but it would have affected the silver quantity of the coins if they reduced the value of the krona. If they increased it, probably wouldn't have worried. But silver was important and gold back then more than banknotes, so they would have actually had to increase the silver content. Yeah, so these coins are in circulation and they were never withdrawn. These ones would have been withdrawn because of the silver content. So, even though these were in circulation, these are there was pretty much in the second series of coins, 1920 to 24, there would have been those coins as well as the 10 and 20 øre. So in 1924, they did stop minting coins without a hole in it, and the first coins they did issue was the 10 and the 25 øre in copper nickel, and these had a hole in it, so it separates them from the silver coins. So, and also you can see that they changed the size of the 25 øre, and the 10 øre was only reduced by about 1 millimeter, or increased by 1 millimeter, should I say. And at the same time, they issued a half, a 1, and a 2 krona. So these are different than the silver coins, so they would have been very easy to remove from circulation. I mean the silver coins. Now it's easy to understand why they issued these coins in whole coins, but why they issued the 1, 2 and 5 øre as whole coins, don't know. If you put these together, you can't really mistake these coins for the bronze coins as well as the copper nickel. I reckon they just done this to make it look like that they weren't removing silver from circulation, and just to keep this series in line with the øre series of the 10 and 25 øre coins. Okay, so now after all that, we start to play with our coins, because basically these are not investment coins, they're just something to play with, something for fun. So we have the first coins, though these ones don't have the hole in it. So this is the back of the coin, because it has the denomination. Now it has an Old Norse scroll on the side, probably from the Viking era, because Vikings are actually pretty popular in mythology. And we have denticles, actually, yeah, denticles, looks like denticles, but they can also be dots as well, that morph into denticles after quite a lot of striking. And this is the front of the coin. So here we have Christian 10th, the Danish crown, we have 2 stars, we have the initials, I think that's the head of the mint, love heart for the actual Danish mint, the date, and then we have the engraver. So this is Gunnar Jensen, and this one's in pretty much uncirculated grade. So I'll go through the mintages after that. And then we have the other coins. All the other coins are pretty much the same. Okay, with the hold coins, we have a similar pattern, although the placement of the name of the country, Denmark, and the date is a bit different. So on the bronze coins, you have Denmark, the date. We have the mint official again, Danish mint, and the denomination. And also you have Norse crosses there. On this side, we have the initials of Christian. So we have 2 C's on one is reversed, and X for the Christian 10th, King of Denmark, and the Danish crown. And also we have the initials of Gunther down below. So the other denomination is the 24 has pretty much just the denomination on one side, and we have the same thing in here. And we have R for Rex, so that's in Latin. And also we have another mint official for 1934. Now the aluminium bronze coins, these just have a crown on one side. So we have half, 1 and 2 krona. This one's been cleaned. On the side we have this cross again, and in the center we have the crown. And on the other side we have the monogram. So that's the same as on the earlier coins. So on the smaller denomination coins, that are kept that the same. And this one's 1940. So the 1 Øre is pretty common. The lowest mintage is 1916, about 2.4 million. Highest is 1913 with bit over 5 million. So this one's 1915 with 4,940,000. So really these you're going to get for less than $5, I believe. Okay, this one's a 1921, 2 Øre, and that one has a mintage of 2,158,000. So still, and as you can see, they're in pretty high grade. Almost, this is very fine. We have a lot of wear on the crown. The key date you want for this is 1913, 373,000. Okay, the 5 Øre. I have 2 coins, so this one's in pretty well circulated condition. And only 19, 20, and 21 have mintage over 1 million. The rest are all under 1 million. So this one's 1919 with 994,000. So in high grades, for most of the mintages, these are going to be a bit expensive. And this one, 1920, has a million, mintage of 2,680,000. So in this condition, probably about $10. It's a pretty good condition. And this one, in this condition, also about $10. So that's what you'll be paying for those. Just remember, these prices are objective because prices do fluctuate along with the market. Okay, so then we have the whole coins. You need 1, 2, and 5 Øre. So here we have 1928 and 1938. 1928 is the most common, has 60,999,000, so pretty much 17 million. 1938 has 3,850,000. And the lowest mintage you want is 1940 with about 1.9 million. So once again, these ones are probably less than $5 if you want to purchase them. Then we have the other two denominations. We have I've only got one of the two ore. This one's 1927, but it is the highest minted coin with 15,359,000. And that's probably because they needed coins, and in 1926 they only minted 301,000, which is the key date. Yeah, so this one probably $5 or less. 1926 you'd be paying about $40 to $50, or probably about 250 Danish krona. Then we have these ones, 1927, 28, and for the two ore, out of 5 ore. This series is more common than the previous series without the hole, so this one's all pretty much, most of them are low mint. This one, most of the mintages are over a million. So 1927 had, we don't have, 7,129,000, that's the highest minted coin. 28 has 4.6 million, so these are pretty common, less than $5 for those. Key date 1934 with 524,000, and you'd be paying probably about $5 to $10 in this condition. Now the interesting thing about the 10 and the 25 ore was that in the Second World War, 1941 to 1945, they issued these in zinc. Then after the war, they issued the same design pretty much in copper nickel to 1947, and the only change was Christian X passed away. So these were minted first in 1924, last in 1947, and they don't seem to be that low of a mintage. So here we have 1934 as a mintage of about 2 million, 1937 mintage of about 2.2 million. So in this condition, this one's probably about $5 to $10, and this one's probably, I don't know, $3 or $4. Not really a scarce coin. And then the lowest mintage that we have for this coin is 1946 with 460,000. That's because there was a lot of this denomination minted during the Second World War, but the Second World War coins were never demonetized, so they just continued to circulate. And in Denmark, these coins, once they change the design, they are not demonetized, they just keep circulating. And the 25 was only demonetized in 2008 when they removed the denomination from circulation. So it means all the coins were demonetized. Okay, so 25 ore. 1934 has a mintage of 1,660,000. In this condition, probably at $5. The lowest minted coin we have is the previous year, 1933, with 479,000. Not surprised, because the Great Depression affected all the countries, so they wouldn't have needed as many coins. Okay, then we have the aluminium bronze coins. Okay, as I said before, these were first minted in 1924. The half krona was minted to 1940, the other two to 1941, and this is 1925, 3 grams, 20 millimeters. And really, it's not that many years this was minted, because it probably was not a popular coin. Population in Denmark is probably about 2.4 to 3.8. That's how much it increased from 1913 to 1940. So this one doesn't seem to have been widely circulated. And the highest minted is this coin here, 1925 with 3.4 million. The lowest minted is 1939 with 226,000. And in 1939, you'll be paying at least $50. This one, about $10 in this condition. and they're all in pretty good condition, so obviously they never saw that much circulation. Okay, so we've got quite a few 1 Corona coins, and this coin continued circulation in this Second World War, although in 1942 they did change the design of the actual coin, so they put the actual head of Christian X on the coin, and this one's first issued 1942. So this one, 1925, the coin is 6.5 grams, 25.5 millimeters, and this one has a mintage of 6,314,000. So that's the highest minted coin you're going to get, and you don't need to collect this one if it's an error. Looks like this has got a lamination peel on it, so that's what you're looking for. Then we have 26, that's 2.7 million, still pretty common, but probably getting harder to get in high grade. 1936, this one has 558,000, so it's one of the lower minted coins. And the lowest minted coin is 1929 with 501,000. So basically 1929, 30, 31, 34, 35, 36, 38 you want, with 1938 only having 407,000. But this one is damaged up the top, so someone's damaged the crown. If it wasn't damaged, you'll be paying about probably $10 for this coin, but the damage reduces the value of it. And here we have the second last year, 1940, with 1.5 million, and it has, you might think that's scratching, but that's actually lamination, so the metal has impurities and it's starting to damage the coin, but it's an error, and I would keep this coin if I was going to keep one of them, which I do. Okay, so the last coin we have, I only have 2 of these. One's cleaned, one's uncleaned. I hope you can tell which one's cleaned. So this coin was also not minted that like in a high mintage. The highest mintage is 1925 with 3.2 million. The lowest is 1938 with 191,000. So it doesn't seem to have been widely circulated in Denmark. So pretty much the 1 krone is probably the more common coin you're going to come across. And if you get change, you're more likely to get 2 1 krone coins than a 2 krone coin. Okay, 1925, the most common. In this condition, probably about $5. 1940, 743,000. And if this wasn't cleaned, it'd be probably a $10, $20 coin, but because it's cleaned, it reduces value. So you need to let this coin tone again, but that's going to take quite a long time. So anyway, hope this helps you with your Danish coins. They're actually quite a nice series, and these circulate along with the coins that they issued during the Second World War, which are mostly base metal. And then in 1947 they issued a new coin series under a different monarch, and they reintroduced the 2 krone. So the 2 krone was not minted between 1942 and 47. Although it probably did circulate, but they issued emergency banknotes pretty much in 1945. Anyway, hope this helps you with your coin series. Let me know which is your favourite coin. I don't mind these, they're actually quite good. Nice design, pretty simple. Have an awesome coin and banknote collecting time, and take care.